And who do you think is going to be your main opposition there, Bob?
Eddie's second on points. He's 8 down on points. The strategy really is to not make sure that if he's ahead of me, he's not more than 8 points ahead. I'm not particularly going for the win. If I can get the win, that's fine. But I'm just going for the series, hopefully.
And how have you found the series so far?
The series has been very tough. There's lots of competition from overseas and New Zealand. It's been really well. It's been really good.
Good luck, Bob Toomey, leading the Suzuki Masters with just one heat remaining.
Bob
second
Toomey
on points. A very, very forceful series ride so far has come from Wellington's Eddie Kattenberg. Eddie, how's the series been to you?
Oh, not too bad. Yeah, no, it's been going quite well.
Bob Toomey was really looking for some points there, and what's going to be your plan?
Oh, I'm going to be going for it. I'm going to try for the win.
Good luck, Eddie Kattenberg.
Thank you.
Eddie Kattenberg, who's the great rival with Bob Toomey. About to say Robert Holden, who of course is not here, has a broken arm and has gone home. Something of a loss. But as we are waiting to get a start on the Suzuki Masters, they'll have a warm-up lap and form up on the grid. Let's just have a look at some of the mishaps there have been in the series so far. Some of them serious, some of them not. Well, Steve Trinder not feeling the effects too badly from that crash that you just saw. He's just won the Formula One race of the day in commanding style. I think he's starting to feel the pain a bit now as he goes back into the pits. And as we get a grid lineup for the Suzuki Masters second race of the day. First one won by Bob Toomey from Eddie Kattenberg. Bad luck for Gary Goodfellow, who had a crash in it. Bob Toomey has told us just a few moments ago that he's more interested in the points than the win, and Eddie Kattenberg has the opposite viewpoint. But of course, all that pre-race talk changes once the flag drops, and people like Bob Toomey haven't become as competitive as they are now, Peter Clifford, with views like, I might just ride for the points.
No, it will be interesting to see what happens when the flag drops and see if Toomey can manage to control himself. But I expect to see the fireworks between Goodfellow and Kattenberg, and perhaps with Robbie Dean getting himself up there as well. 30 seconds to go before the start.
So look for number 3, number 21, and letter A. There's the start. Bob Toomey not getting a good start. But Eddie Kattenberg into the lead. Gary Goodfellow behind him. Kattenberg and Goodfellow into the first corner.
It's Goodfellow who takes the lead. runs a bit wide, and Kattenberg will get the better drive out. There's a collision between two riders, but I think they both got away with it. And Goodfellow leads now from Kattenberg, with Robbie Dean in third place and Bob Toomey about fifth or sixth place. So Toomey will want to make a better position than that, otherwise he's liable to lose the 8-point advantage that he has. Goodfellow running wide a little bit again.
Very bad start from Bob Toomey. I'm not quite sure what the problem was, but it seemed that it just wanted to wheel stand on him.
And Robbie Dean now, I think, is up into second place. Him battling with Kattenberg to get on terms with Goodfellow. Dean takes second from Kattenberg.
We've already seen in the first race that Robbie Dean is not that much disadvantaged with Eddie Kattenberg. He's capable of staying with them, so Kattenberg will have his work cut out to get past him.
Kattenberg tries to go around the outside into the sweeter, squeezing Dean. Dean had to button off, or he would have run into the back of Kattenberg. Kattenberg steals his line, and it's Paviol who's up into fourth place with Rob Toomey. Bob Toomey and Paviol side by side for fourth, as Kattenberg has second place now and is chasing Goodfellow, but he's now to get leaned on by Robbie Dean again. Both really hard men, but Kattenberg hangs on to second.
Very uncompromising rider, Eddie Kattenberg. Certainly doesn't give lines away. Robbie Dean, very similar in style. Bob Toomey's got his work cut out to get up to those leaders now. There's a little gap back there. And with Kattenberg and Dean battling away as they are, it might be pretty wide to get past the two of them.
And they're both closing right up on Goodfellow now. He's going to come under pressure from two really hard men as Kattenberg looks for an outbreaking manoeuvre. Can't do it. In fact, Goodfellow's deeper into the corner than Kattenberg. Perhaps Kattenberg looking for a better drive out, and he gets it. He gets a better drive out, and he'll be quicker down the straight than Goodfellow. I expect to see him pull alongside as he does, and into the lead. Side by side, yes, he had the better drive out of the corner. No difference in speed on the bikes, but great overtaking manoeuvre from Kattenberg. Goodfellow now under pressure from the third place man, Robbie Dean.
Gary Goodfellow perhaps has in mind that he crashed in the first of these races, going in a little hard to Higgins.
Two men looking for the way down the inside, and Goodfellow takes over the lead from Kattenberg. Kattenberg closes the door on Robbie Dean. He didn't even see that Dean was there. He was only interested in getting back underneath Goodfellow. Toomey has a secure fourth.
Now these three dicing like this may give Bob Toomey the chance to catch them. Getting up to them and getting past them might be a different story. Gary Goodfellow hanging tenuously to that lead. Kattenberg right on his tail. Robbie Dean pushing Kattenberg. Kattenberg has a go on the inside, and he's through.
Once more, it was Kattenberg going late apex into the corner, had the better drive out, and he's caught Goodfellow twice with that manoeuvre now. And this time, Goodfellow drives up the inside once more. Robbie Dean tries to come around the outside, but it'll be Kattenberg once more who gets the better drive. He passes Robbie Dean again.
Goodfellow comes out in front. Of course, Goodfellow, the reigning Canadian 750 production champion, and also the man who won the British Columbian 750 championship as well this year.
Notice Eddie Kattenberg, when he was dicing with Robert Holden, with Bob Toomey, sorry, in the first of the Suzuki Master Series, and again now, is braking a bit later than both Bob Toomey and Goodfellow. Robbie Dean seeming to brake later as well.
All those three identical 750 Suzukis, all battling for supremacy, all slipping and sliding at the same time, trying to occupy the same bit of road. But Goodfellow has a slight advantage now on letter A over 21 Kattenberg and then Robbie Dean.
Well, this is a tremendous game race from Gary Goodfellow, having crashed in the first one. No loss of confidence whatever, and doing battle right up the front. An excellent race between these three. Kattenberg having a go again, just getting there, but having to brake earlier again.
Goodfellow really deep into the corner.
Seems that Eddie Kattenberg can manage to get a wheel in front in a straight line, but has to get on the brakes earlier than either Goodfellow. Having a go that time late. Through again into the lead. Coming out wide, Goodfellow on the inside. Kattenberg has got that lead now. Goodfellow's second. Toomey up to third.
Bob Toomey getting ready to join in the battle there as well. Dean round the outside of Kattenberg. It's a long way round the outside.
As we suggested, Toomey's racing instincts perhaps getting the better of him, but the way these guys have been clashing fairings, I think it would be a big mistake for Toomey to mix it with them at this stage. He's surely not going to be able to get through them and away very easily, and he doesn't want to be mixed up in a fairing banging incident that could end up with him sliding down the road.
Eddie Kattenberg is the man that he's got to get alongside, really. Gary Goodfellow's no threat in terms of the points. It's Eddie Kattenberg that is the major opposition. Robbie Dean still hanging in there, going past Kattenberg that time. Goodfellow, Dean, Kattenberg, Toomey.
But surely he must realise that if this is run on World Championship points 15, 12, 10 and 8, if he finishes fourth and Kattenberg wins it, there are only 7 points difference and he has an 8-point advantage, so he would still win the series. But Goodfellow now leads from Robbie Dean and Eddie Kattenberg.
Of course, if they stay the way they are now, with Kattenberg only 1 place in front of him, that will suit his purposes admirably.
Now Dean leads for the first time. Robbie Dean, but he had to run wide, and Goodfellow gets back underneath him. So does Kattenberg.
One of the best races of the day on the all-equal GSXR 750 Suzukis. 4 top-line riders on equal machinery, absolutely doing battle lap by lap. Lead has changed 5 times in the space of the race.
Now what these guys really should start thinking is they should start thinking about the last lap, because none of them seems to be able to break clear. So it's all going to come down to a last lap battle and who's going to be in front when they come out of the sweeper and across the start and finish line. At the moment, Kattenberg seems to be quicker through the sweeper than anybody else, but of course he's got to be in front. Goodfellow at the moment leads from Robbie Dean, with Kattenberg looking to take second place.
Bob Toomey getting on to the back of that group. Close enough almost now to get some advantage from slipstreaming.
And it's Alan Ramage who's up into 5th place.
Gary Goodfellow leads out of the sweeping right-hander, which takes him off the start-finish straight, and now starting to extend his lead. The Canadian champion in but his 3rd season of road racing, and certainly a man who's acquitting himself very well. Yesterday was the first time he ever saw the Manfeild circuit, and sings much praise for it. Beautiful flowing style through the infield hairpin and heading down towards Higgins, which takes them back onto the back straight. But Dean charging back again. Eddie Kattenberg still there in 3rd position, actually a little faster as they get toward the end of the back straight. But Goodfellow superb under brakes. Robbie Dean in behind him. Neither of these 3 riders can make a mistake, and I think Bob Toomey's riding a very level-headed race there in 4th position. Obviously looking at the points as Eddie Kattenberg closes right up on Robbie Dean and takes him for 2nd place.
Coming round to get the white flag this time. Eddie Kattenberg up to 2nd place. Bob Toomey dropping off just a little bit in 3rd place. The camera angle's a little deceptive. They've all got the white flag on the last lap now. This is where the moves have to come if they're going to be done. Kattenberg and Dean battling away. Kattenberg on the inside, Dean being forced wide. Goodfellow gets away as a result. Goodfellow pulling out just a little more of a lead now. Coming around seemingly safe in that 1st place. Making up for the crash in the first of these races.
Kattenberg really has a little bit to do now if he's going to catch Goodfellow. And he's got to make his manoeuvre, I think, going in down the back straight. He's got to get a better drive out of this corner. So he's got to watch it. He's got to have his line right going in here. He can't afford to try and pass Goodfellow at this point. It's the drive out of the corner that's going to be critical to him, but he's got Robbie Dean trying to come around the outside. That's no good to Dean. Kattenberg does have a good drive out of the corner. He's probably got a few miles an hour on Goodfellow now. Yes, he's closing in. He'll be able to pick up the slipstream. This gets sucked in and goes past. Perfect manoeuvre from Kattenberg. He has the inside line. He can squeeze Goodfellow out, but Goodfellow really brave, hanging on. He Going to try and come back underneath, but Kattenberg, I think, has done it. It's a superb manoeuvre from the New Zealander to take the win in this race. Absolutely brilliant stuff from Kattenberg. Really well thought out. It was 2 corners he put together to win that race. Absolutely brilliant stuff.
Well, we spoke a little about the tactics that they would have to have in mind for the last lap. Eddie Kattenberg obviously absolutely wrapped. What a superb couple of corners. Shaking hands with Gary Goodfellow. Goodfellow acknowledging that the better rider on the last couple of corners took the advantage. Eddie Kattenberg sitting there patiently for so long, trying so hard to catch Gary Goodfellow and being pushed by Robbie Dean. He got the last couple of corners absolutely brilliant. Have a look at this into the back straight. Goodfellow with the advantage. Kattenberg getting excellent drive out of that corner and obviously getting the better entry to the back straight. As they got along the back straight, Kattenberg started to pick him up as they got up into the higher speeds. Having a look now as he catches up on Goodfellow at a straight line, leaving the braking very, very late indeed, trying to get that inside line so that he's able to force Goodfellow wide. Gets the line, gets the wheel in front, and now Goodfellow came back at him. Eddie Kattenberg stuck with his line and made Goodfellow ride around the outside. I think that's the fastest I've seen anybody go into that sweeper for a long, long time, and Eddie Kattenberg must have been biting fingernails, wondering whether or not he could get round it. Gary Goodfellow hanging on for grim death around the outside, but there's no way he was going to get round it, and he had to get forced wide on the exit. Kattenberg held onto his line, pushed it very, very wide, and the entry to the front straight, and a straight sprint down. He had the legs, coming down to the checkered flag. Robbie Dean hanging in there for grim death as well, sitting right on Goodfellow's tail. Bob Toomey content to sit back in 4th place, knowing that he had the Series 1. And the checkered flag to Eddie Kattenberg as he raises his hand in victory. I would think Eddie Kattenberg would be one of the happiest people around at the moment. What a superb race. And the points overall, Bob Toomey wins even with that 4th place with 38 points. In 2nd place is Eddie Kattenberg with that superb ride, just 1 point behind at 37. On 26 points in 3rd place, Robbie Dean, a remarkably consistent series for him. And Gary Goodfellow finishing with 24 points. One wonders that he must be regretting having crashed in the first race. Otherwise, he'd have been right up there. But Eddie Kattenberg, look at the joy on his face. There's nothing he likes better than winning. He's one of the hard-charging riders of his generation. Absolutely uncompromising in the lines he takes, and I thought that was very, very brave from both he and Gary Goodfellow on that last sweeper.
Yes, it really was excellent stuff, and I think that Kattenberg had it well worked out. Even as Goodfellow tries to come round the outside, his race is lost because Kattenberg has managed to choose the right line, and Goodfellow hasn't had enough races at this circuit to know what he was about, and Kattenberg just gets on the throttle early and drives out of the corner ahead of him, and there's nothing that letter A can do about it.
And at about that point, when he comes off that corner, you're looking, in fact, at the pit lane, which is just one concrete wall. It doesn't look like a straight at all because you can't see the straight from the exit to that corner. A very, very brave manoeuvre from Eddie Kattenberg, who knows the circuit so well. But the winner overall, Bob Toomey, with 38 points, having taken 15 and 15, 2 wins at a 4th place with 8 points, 38 the total, beating Eddie Kattenberg, despite that excellent last race, by just 1 point. And I think this bodes well for future series of this kind, where all the leading senior production and Formula One riders get put on equivalent machinery there to battle out on race day. It really does provide for good racing.
And I know that Eddie Kattenberg is hoping to go to Australia. He's hoping that Richard Scott, who's been racing in Australia for this last year, can organise him a ride in the Yamaha Cup Series, which is for the small 250 machines. And Kattenberg, I'm sure, would go very, very well in Australia.
Recovers fairly quickly. Right now to the presentation, and in 3rd place overall, we call on our Tauranga favourite, Robbie Dean. And the presentation made
Robbie
by
Dean, an
Mr.
excellent
Royston
campaigner,
and Robert,
particularly good on the street circuits. We've seen some wonderful feats from him over the years at Wanganui, bouncing off hay bales, getting